Hey, Adam.
Yo, what's
How's it going?
Hey, what's up? You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you
man?
doing?
I'm good.
Good. Well, this is Suburban Rebels broadcast with the singer of conservative military image. So where does the name, the band come from?
The band name?
Yeah.
So it's actually taken from an Army regulation. So, like, in the military, there's, like this big, giant, essentially it's like a book of all, like, the rules and laws and, explanations of everything. So it's, like, AR 670-1, which is the chapter on, like, authorized wear and appearance of an Army uniform. And, like, there's, like, a small description of it, and it says, like, the soldier will maintain a conservative military image at all times while in uniform. And when I was in the Army, like, especially as a private, you got to, like, learn all these, like, those ones are, like, kind of important, so you have to, like, memorize them in case somebody asks you. And I saw that, and I was like, damn, like, that's such a cool name for a band.
Yeah.
Like, that would be like, such a hard-ass name. So I, like, held on to it for, like, I had that name for, like, I guess maybe 10 years.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then I was just like, when I started doing the band, I was like, the band is called Conservative Military Image, and I was like, well, I already know what I'm doing when I name the band that, so fuck it.
Yeah. And how did you get into hardcore and skinhead boy and all that stuff?
Let's see, so it's probably like late 90s, like 98, 99. And I was in high school, and, like, this was, like, before it was, like, kind of cool to be, like, a skater or a punk or, a metalhead. Like, that was not cool. Like, you set yourself up in a certain crowd, And so all of the people that I hung out with, like, in high school who were into punk were, like, skinheads. Like, they were either skinheads or, like, charged up punks. So that's, like, the crowd I ran with, and they're the ones who, like, introduced me to all that stuff. And so, yeah, I was like, 15, 16. Like, I knew Minor Threat, and Black Flag, but this was, like, the next level above that, or below that, where you start getting deeper. And somebody let me borrow American Pie by Anti-Heroes. And I was like, that was, like, I was like, whoa. I was like, this is sick. I get it. That was my moment where it clicked. And so I used to tag along with them to, like, random shows. And when I went to high school, like, just outside Atlanta, Georgia, so growing up around there, and that was, like, my introduction into like the skinhead and oi scene, and from there, and then I don't know, man. I've been naturally on the hunt for aggressive, dangerous music my whole entire life. So I stumbled into hardcore, through, like, Victory Records comps or, stuff like that, and then just kept going from there. So I've always, I guess that's my in, and I've pretty much been. No, I wouldn't be active in the scene, I would say, but I've been, like, listening to that stuff sincerely since 2000. Only within the last couple of years have I finally, like, talked myself into jumping in and, putting my hand in there.
Right. I'll be seeing Anti-Heroes this weekend.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going out to the what is it? What's it?
Yeah, Punk Rock Bowling in Vegas.
Oh, Punk Rock Bowling. Man, dude, that's so cool. Like, I knew when they announced that, I was like, man, that's crazy. That's their first gig. And I was like, man, I really hope they got other stuff coming. Yeah, like, they're coming to Chicago in, I think, November.
Oh, nice.
Dude, I'm so jealous. Like, that's like one thing. That's like, I want to see them so bad. We had an opportunity to go to Spain in August for the Beach Beer Chaos.
Oh.
And Anti-Heroes was playing. Yeah, like, we were on the original flyer too. We just couldn't make it happen. And it was like, that broke my heart because I was like, oh man.
Next time.
Yeah, we'll be playing next year.
Yeah. So how was the band born?
Man, that's like essentially is like it's like kind of my passion project. I would say about maybe like 3 years ago, I had like started teaching myself how to play guitar, and like trying to write songs, and like actively recording stuff at my house by myself, and kind of trying to find my sound for what I wanted the band to be. And then it was like, all right, cool. Now I need to get guys for the band, because like I've never sang a day in my life or anything like that. And that turned out to be like the hardest part. It took me like forever to find anybody, and I've spoke about this before, but it's like people say, "Oh yeah, I'll do it, man," and then they don't want to do it, or we have a practice or two, and then they kind of fizzle away. And then I don't know, man. I started getting older, and I just kind of had this moment. I was like, dude, I'm so sick of waiting around. Like, I really want to do this. Like, I'm tired of waiting for people. I was like, screw it, man. I'm just gonna try to do it myself. And I had never sang before or anything like that. So I wrote all the lyrics, and recorded all the music myself. I played everything on the demo, on the Skinhead demo.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so once I had that, I was still hunting for a singer, because I was like, oh, I gotta find a singer, And then like I was like, all right, let me just give it a try. So I like tried one time in like practice space by myself, and I was like, oh, that wasn't too bad. So literally the first time that I ever like actually like intentionally yelled into a microphone was like when we pressed record to like start recording vocals for that demo.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I learned a lot there. Like, I could only do like maybe 2 songs at a time, and then I couldn't talk for a day. So it was like kind of good practice for that, and I don't know. I mean, it's a demo, so it's whatever. Right. But like it came out, like I got it all done. My buddy James from Arizona mixed it. I was like, cool, sounds good. And I just released it, and I was like, awesome, that's done. I was like, man, that's cool. All right, whatever. Like, I never imagined that this is where I would be. Like, I thought I would get torn apart, or I thought people would absolutely hate it, or maybe some people would like it, some people wouldn't, or it would just get ignored. But somehow I just got traction, man. Which is super cool, man. I'm really grateful and humbled for that.
I think it's the best thing out there.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it, dude. It's definitely like, like all the stuff that I sing about, it's all like, like real life stuff from like through my life, or things that happen to me, or what I see, or how I feel. I don't write, from a, what if perspective. It's always, like it's every line has meaning, essentially. There's like no throwaway stuff. So it's definitely, I went all in on it. So it's cool that like it, like people like, like you like picked it up, and it's definitely cool, man. I'm very humbled by it. So off of that, it was a lot easier to kind of, get the interest of like musicians, and the band wound up assembling just of all my friends. So.
And what was the inspiration for Summertime, Skinhead release?
So Skinhead and Summertime Skinhead were actually all written at once. I wrote all of those songs like in the span of a year. And the plan was to like release it into 2 EPs essentially, because I was like, well, I'm not going to put out a full length. That's just weird. So I put out the Skinhead thing, and all the Summertime Skinhead stuff was, I was like, oh, I'll record this, whenever I get to it. And then that's when I got, my boy Frank, who plays drums, that's when he like joined the fold. He was like the first dude to come in. So he recorded the drums on that, and then I did everything else. And, by then it had a little bit of, visibility to it. Lionheart had already, gotten in contact with us. So, yeah, like, those songs were pretty easy to record. And honestly, like, as much as I love the Skinhead demo, like, the songs on Summertime Skinhead was like, all right, this is like, those are like some of the later songs that were written. I was like, all right, this is kind of like where I want to be, like, straddling this line. Yeah, and so think I recorded Summertime Skinhead like maybe like 4 or 5 months after the EP. No, like 3 or 4 months after it came out. That's when we started recording it. And so that was like, and then Lionheart was like, oh yeah, we'll put that out too, because I was like, oh sick. Yeah, I guess that's the thing. So it's almost been a year since Summertime Skinhead came out, actually.
Nice. And how's the skinhead scene by you in Chicago? I know some of the Fear City guys, but
oh yeah, I mean, it's here. I mean, Chicago's got like a very rich and storied history that's like, goes back decades. That's really cool. I don't know. I'm not like I'm some authority on the scene, It could be better, but it could also be a lot worse. Fear City, definitely. Like, those dudes hold it down, man. Like, they've been keeping it, keeping it going. I was actually just at a Fear City party on Sunday. But yeah, I think, the whole intent of the band, too, was, like, to reignite, because, like, the idea of, like, American Oi and Skinhead, and, like, to take the word back and to kind of, like, it was dying, man. Like, nobody wants to be a skinhead. Are you kidding me? Like,
yeah.
Dude, it's like already enough targets on your back, and it's like someone's going to be a skinhead. It's just not what it used to be, especially in America. I'm speaking from an American perspective here.
Right.
So that was the idea behind the band. Like, the core was like, yo, like, ain't nobody going to get into it if there's nothing new, Like,
yeah.
You need new blood to keep things alive. So that was kind of the idea, was like to fire it up a little bit, and get people interested. And so like, based off of the success of the band so far, like it's working. Like, people want to talk shit on Fresh Cuts or whatever, or give them a hard time, and that's cool, man. But dude, I love it. I don't care if you just shaved your head last week, man. If you're like, for every 20 kids that show up, one of them will stick around.
Yeah.
And you don't know who that is, so
right.
You treat them all like they're that dude.
Yeah. Keep it going.
Exactly, dude. Like, you got to pass the torch, man. Like, they won't know if there's nothing too accessible to them, or somebody shows them, or and then I don't know.
Yeah. What about? I was going to say, what's for Club and Country all about?
So like that song is more like, I'd say like as a songwriter, kind of writing from a different perspective. Like I like using metaphors or anything like that. So it's essentially, I mean, I'm not saying I'm some like, it's a song about soccer, like straight up, like. It's about, but like it's kind of just like, I don't know, hanging out with your boys and like doing some dumb stuff, man, just like fighting some other guys for like something you care about, even if it's as trivial as sports. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if people feel so passionate about that, they're willing to fight people who like disagree with their team or don't like their team or are on another team. Like, that's a level of passion and like of sincerity that's like rarely replicated. And it's like, it's their version of, oi or punk or hardcore. Like, they didn't get into punk rock. They got into soccer, and they like, that was their, the other route that they went. And so it's cool that, I think it's cool that people care enough about that to be like wilding out in the streets. And I don't know, kind of like almost like a love letter to it, where it's like, hey, this isn't my life, but I know somebody out there is living it, and maybe they'll be like, oh, this is the song I needed. Plus, I genuinely enjoy soccer, and I've been playing and watching it my whole life, so,
Yeah.
too much good material source.
Who do you support?
Man, I'm going to get a lot of shit for this, but, and for real. But, dude, I'm not, like, legitimately, man, I'm, like, not like, passionate to any one team.
Right.
There's teams that I like, I have a soft side for, and like those, I like Tottenham, Like I like Nottingham Forest. Premier League's mainly what I follow, but I also watch like Bundesliga too, because I lived in Germany, so naturally I fell in there. But like Tottenham, Nottingham Forest. I like Aston Villa, and like kind of why I'm not really sure. Like I like Norwich City. I don't know.
Okay.
I just like I enjoy watching the games and like watching the play, and it's kind of fun when I don't get emotionally invested in a team, because this is the only sport I follow where if a team loses that I like it doesn't ruin my day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I watch it for the players and stuff like that. So I mean, I'll definitely tell you, like, there's teams that I don't like. Like I don't like Manchester City. I don't really like Liverpool. I'm not gonna lie to you. But yeah, I watch it. I literally every Saturday and Sunday I wake up early and I watch Premier League games, and I watch every game.
No Millwall love.
Nah, man, dude, I love like the second division like football. Like in Germany, that's what I used to watch a lot, because like, I would go to those games. I wish they were televised more in the States. Like they are. What is it? The Champion League, something like that, for Premier League. So I watched some of those games, but is Millwall even in there? I think they're third tier, aren't they?
Yeah, I had to sign up for some like channel to watch any of their games.
Dude. Oh yeah, it's like tough. Like you cannot. I mean, you got to like actively figure out a way to find it. I like Millwall. I mean, if you know anything about it, Millwall, the fans be wildin'.
Yeah.
They're a fight club, no
true.
doubt. I like Millwall a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I don't dislike them at all. I wish I could see them more, but they've been, like terminally mediocre at best for a very long time.
Oh yeah, that's a fact. So, what do you think's so unique about skinhead hardcore? Like all the legendary bands, Warzone, Sheer Terror, Agnostic Front. When all the skinhead hardcore stuff started.
Yeah.
Is that like an influence on you?
Oh, 100%, man. That was definitely that was the stuff like early on that I like really gravitated to when I was younger. And it's 2023 and we're still talking about these bands all the time. People are always talking about Warzone, always talking about Agnostic Front, always talking about Sheer Terror, or I don't know, like early Dropkick Murphys. That's kind of pushing it. But we're still talking about those bands, man. People still listen to those records, and like they still have an influence even to this day, and it's decades now. Cro-Mags. So that right there should say a lot. But honestly, as good as they are, man, it's like, that was a special moment in time and a special, city. So that's kind of what makes it a little, unique. That probably won't be replicated, but it doesn't mean that the essence can't be. And I always thought it was really cool because I grew up coming through punk and then getting into hardcore. That's how I came through. So I always thought it was cool that was like the one band. Like even as I started gravitating more towards hardcore music, as I got older, that was like the one band that I could always, me and my punk friends would always be like, oh yeah, hell yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just thought that was really special and cool, the way they kind of bridge those scenes. And they're really, there's been a few bands, but there hasn't really been any new bands that kind of have actively tried to do that. And the parallels are just there, dude. Like everybody, dips in both pots,
Yeah.
And times have changed. You're allowed to like more than one kind of music now,
Right.
So it's not like a big thing if you tell people oh yeah, I like some skinhead stuff too, and they're like, oh well, I thought you were a metalhead, or I thought you were punk guy.
Yeah.
So absolutely, those bands have an influence on me, and I kind of I didn't want to copy the sound, but I wanted to, emulate what they did. And I know that sounds really grandiose, but wow, it's is honest. I was like, I like both. Their parallels are just there. Like, they're both angry, aggressive music with a very specific style and sound. I was like, it works. It's two of my favorite kinds of music, so it's like, you know.
Yeah. I saw Babies once when Warzone before he passed, and I was young, but it was pretty special.
And that's sick.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Do you think it's still hard being a skinhead? I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but
yeah, for sure. I mean, it always has been, and that's the allure of the culture. Is it's like, like, it's a very authoritative look, right? It's a very intentional look.
Yeah.
When like when you see a skinhead, you're like, oh, that's a skinhead. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I would say like that aspect of it has kind of mellowed a little bit just because of culture, climate, changing of times. So those, you don't necessarily have to have that look anymore. It's which is for better or worse, pros and cons to it. You don't have to have a shaved head and wear boots and braces to be, identified as a skinhead.
Right.
It's like, it's an attitude, and as much as it is a look, it is definitely an attitude. And I think by prioritizing the attitude and the mentality and the mindset of a skinhead, is more important than the look. As much as like the look looks cool, I like does look cool. I can't deny it. It's the attitude, it's the mentality. It's like, I don't know, backing it up and living it is priority, because now anybody can just put on the uniform and walk around and be like, oh yeah, I love Blitz,
Of course, yeah.
But like, when it's time to do stuff or handle things or, act like a fucking skinhead,
right.
Where are those guys? They're inside. That's why we call them indoor skins.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, my hair's grown out now, but I'm still always a skinhead.
Some of the like the coolest skinhead dudes, like some of the most dangerous, like wildest, like coolest fucking skinheads are doing the same, man. Like they,
yeah,
they're over it. They're like, look, I've been here a long time. I know what I am. And so, I think to me it would be even weirder, to just like for this band to come out and for like me to suddenly shave my head, like maybe the photograph would look cool, but like, it would be like, oh, poser, I never did that. Why would I do it now?
Right.
So we get shit for it a little bit, but it's fine. I don't give a fuck. Our credentials,
Yeah, you don't need to have no hair to.
Yeah, I mean, any of us dude in the band, for real. Like, if you ever talk to anybody else, they'll go toe to toe and they'll tell you and talk and they'll say everything. They'll tell you their stories too. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to be a skinhead, bro. It is. But like, that's what's fun about it. It's not for everybody. But like, it's the same way I would describe the band itself. This is like the unofficial motto is like, we're a band for anybody, but we're not a band for everybody. So like, that's skinhead too. It's like anybody can be a skinhead, but not everybody. Anyway.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And what inspired Yard Heart?
Oh man, dude, I love working out, dude. And it's fun.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to, like, it's hard to write about like working out and not sounding like total cheese. But I also got like a lot of homies who've been to jail. Like, I've never been to jail, like hard jail. So like, just hearing their stories and stuff where it's like they don't have anything. Like, they have nothing. They, bare essentials to survive. Luxuries are non-existent. And they still find ways to like motivate themselves. They still find ways to exercise, without anything. And they're getting so creative, and then, like they bond with other inmates, you know. And it's the same thing in like working out when you like meet people like that. You're like, oh yeah, listen, well yeah, it's my workout partner, you know, like motivate each other. And so that's the idea of it was like using that as like a, you know, I guess like a metaphor essentially, where it's like I always say it's like when we play live, this song's about going to jail or doing burpees in the parking lot. You know what I mean? It could be one or the other. It could be both. It, you know, whatever it is to you.
Yeah.
So Yard Hard, it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's a fun song, man. It's just like peacocking. Like, yo, going hard in the yard. Like, that's the shit I always used to say when I was working out and stuff. Like, oh, yard hard, baby. We're in the yard going hard. And it's just, you know, it's just fun slang. But it's, you know, it's not a joke song, but it's for real. But it's, you know, having fun with it. Firing people up. That was just fun to say.
Yeah. And is that where Rockwell Barbell and Black Metal Fitness came about?
Yeah, dude. So, like, when I got out of the Army, I was in nursing school. And so I was in nursing school full time. So I was my boy Lawrence was opening up Rockwell. You know, we used to talk on the phone before I got out of the Army, and he's like, hey, you know, I'm going to start this gym. I want your help. I'm like, yeah, fuck it. Let's do it. So when I got out and moved back to Chicago, you know, me, him, and like 4 other dudes, like, essentially got this gym up and running. And I became a personal trainer to like, you know, part-time while I was in school full-time. And so, you know, you have to have a name for your personal training business for tax purposes or whatever. And so, you know, I chose Black Metal Fitness, and I used to do like a blog. You know, and it was fun because I just love teaching and I love like coaching and helping people. Like working out is like so awesome, just has so many benefits. So it's like you know, doing that, like training, and then also like doing the blog for people as well. Kind of is like I guess it's like the foundation of eventually what the band would become, because you know it's a lot easier to like play songs than it is to like write really long blog posts, I would say. So yeah, like that's, you know, essentially the band is an extension of that, like, you know, motivating, paying it forward, you know, firing people up to like get stuff done. And that just comes as a trainer. You know, I've been a trainer for 8 years, you know, training clients, firing them up, get them motivated. Not everybody wants to be there, but you know, it's your job to kind of make sure everything gets done. So yeah, I would say so.
All right. And what about Residence and Ambush? What was that about?
I don't know. I'm not gonna lay down the groundwork for every song I write though. That's just like that's a fun song. I don't think we'll ever play it live. But yeah, I don't know. That's all I got for you, man. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, some songs you gotta hold private, right?
Yeah, like I wasn't not like too big into like explaining the songs. I feel like a lot of the stuff I write, you know, it was relatively self-explanatory. Some stuff has like, you know, a little bit deeper meaning, but it's like I'm more curious to be like, what do you think of the song? Like, what do you get from that song? Like, that's what I'm more curious of, you know, is like how other people perceive, like the art.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a great song. That's why I probably added it to my question.
Oh, sick. Oh, cool. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, that was a fun song. That's like, I think that was the last song that was written for Summertime Skinhead. I don't know. I just liked it. I really liked that riff for the chorus.
Yeah.
Like, and then they kind of built off that. Actually, I like the guitar riff for the verse, like, really awesome. I don't know, like, that's honestly probably my least favorite CMI song, though, dude.
Okay.
All the other dudes the dudes in the band always give me shit for it, too. They're like, well, you're stupid. That song rips. But I'm like, man, I don't know. I feel like I was still trying to, like, learn how to write, you know, like, lyrics for songs. Then, so it doesn't feel as, like, complete as I wish it could be.
Okay.
As I wanted it to be, and as, like, I kind of was able to start writing. You know, I mean, because, like, dude, like, writing is a skill, just like learning how to play guitar. Like if you don't write for a long time, you're gonna like forget. So like if you write frequently, you know, and especially writing, I've written my whole life. Like I've always wrote like, you know, journals or poems or just like lyrics, even though I was never in a band. So I've always written, and so like writing for a song, a little bit different. And I kind of feel like, like I could have done a little bit more with that. I don't hate that song, definitely not, but it's, I don't think unfortunately, for you, man, I don't think we'll ever play that one live.
Oh well. What's your take on violence in the scene?
I'm sorry, what?
What's your take on violence in the scene?
On violence?
Violence, like fights, and
it's a necessary evil, man. I don't promote it as a default attitude, but when you take that out of the equation, you take away all of your power that you yourself have. So if you refuse to fight, or if you refuse to, you know, get serious when it's time to get serious, you're relying on someone else, right? And so whether that's like, I'm going to call my friends up, or I'm going to call the police, right? You know, and guess what? It's not their business. They might come and help you because they're supposed to, but that don't mean they're like involved in it, right? Yeah. So I don't like promote violence as like, like violence, you know what I mean? Like it's not the default. It's the last measure. I'm all about, you messed up. Let's talk it out. I'm giving you opportunities. I'm giving you chances to like back away, or you know, explain yourself or apologize. And so, you know, it's always always an option, and as it should be with anyone for anything they really believe with. However, like if that's your only tool, then you're setting yourself up for failure. Just like if your only tool is to, you know, not say anything and shut down, then you're just going to get bullied harder, you know? Yeah. So, plus it's like, oh man, like it's scary. And some people need to see that maybe. Because then they'll be like, hey, do you really want to be here? Yeah. Or not? You know what I mean?
Right. Weeds out the
like, Exactly. Like when you see someone like really get their ass beat, man, it's like it used to be not fun for me. It's like kind of fun to see, but you're also like, oof, you know what I mean? Like there's a moment where you're like, ugh, oof.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's part of the game, man. Like I don't know. I'm not trying to sound like a tough guy or anything. It's like, you know what I mean? It's not like that, but it has a place in the scene. It has a place in life, and it should always be an option.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of bands stop playing. I mean, some bands stop playing when fights break out, but
hell no, dude, that's weak, man.
Yeah.
Look, what happens like out on the stage is like that doesn't involve me, especially if it's a fight. It doesn't fucking involve me. I'm not. I whatever. Like if it involves my friends, that's a different story. But if it doesn't involve anybody I know, it doesn't concern me at all. Like, you know, I owe nothing to that. You know, like we owe nothing to that.
The band must play on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, unless you know, like someone's gutted and they're bleeding out in the middle, like, okay, well, it's a little different, but like, yo, fuck that, dude. Like, nobody came here to see probably some dumb pit beef, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
They came here to see, you know, some dumb music, so that's what we're gonna do. Plus, it's like, you know what I mean?
Fred Perry or Ben Sherman?
Oh, Fred Perry all day, brother.
Yeah. What about?
Although Ben Sherman do be making really good jackets. I like this. Ben Sherman jackets are nice.
That's true.
Yeah, it's Fred Perry all day.
Yeah. Boots or Sambas?
Samba, son. I own boots, but like, I don't know, man. I just feel like myself in Sambas.
Yeah, feel that. More comfortable, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like kind of my natural thing. I love wearing boots. But I just feel more, I don't know, more comfortable in Sambas.
Yeah. What about your top 3 Oi bands?
Oh, top 3 Oi bands? I'll give you Anti-Heroes, if we're gonna call it that. Anti-Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely gonna be my number one slot. Blitz, obviously. Who am I going for 3? It's a tough call, man. Depends what the vibe is. Honestly, you're probably gonna say Combat 84.
Yeah, all right.
I like the later Combat 84 too. That Tooled Up album goes so hard.
Oh yeah, I remember that album.
Yeah, I was just like, the cover is just so sick. It's just like a hand holding them.
I think the singer died a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, if we're gonna go from like classic eras, that stuff, yeah, that's what I go.
All right. What about top 3 hardcore bands?
Man, that's a tough one. I would say probably my favorite hardcore band is Warzone, obviously. And then like my second would probably be No Warning. They were like, dude, I still listen to No Warning in the gym like all the time.
Yeah, they're good.
I love that stuff. That album they put out a couple years ago too. Oh, shit, they're like 4 years now. That thing was awesome. Man, I don't know. That's a tough question. I definitely know those 1 and 2. 3. Shit. I don't know. Maybe like, I don't know. This is like a product of like how I grew up or what time frame I came in. Probably say like Hope Conspiracy.
Okay.
It's like a hardcore band.
Yeah, I know that.
I know it's not like, I don't know, it's not like classic hardcore. I mean, we're talking about my top 3, not like all time top 3. That's
right.
Yeah. How about you?
Oh fuck, man. I'm maybe Blood for Blood.
Ooh, hell yeah, dude.
Agnostic Front, and probably Sheer Terror.
Oh yeah.
I know it's a tough one because you want to put Warzone in there, you want to put Cro-Mags in there, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a tough one.
It's hard. I mean, like anybody who cares about anything, like you can't just pick 3. It's like, all right, this is the mood of the last 6 months. You know? This is my current top 3.
For sure. So it's a tough one, but what do you think the craziest show you played so far was?
Honestly, dude, they keep getting crazier.
Yeah.
Like each one is like wilder than the next, which is awesome. But our second show ever was in LA. It was like an after show with Criminal Instinct and Dead City last December. It was our second show, and like, dude, it was just absolutely nuts, dude. It was wild. We were not like, we played at like 11 o'clock at night, after a long day at a fest, because it was like an after show. That show was pretty wild. And then we played in Philadelphia with Liberty and Justice, and just a couple months ago. And dude, that show was nuts too, man. Like people were like going off during our sound check.
Nice.
Like we were sound checking, and like they started tearing shit up, and I was like, "Yo, this is a sound check." They didn't care.
Yeah.
I would say like that show, and then like those 2 shows stick out for me because I was like, I didn't know what to expect. We were like on that night, like I was really happy with our performance. I was happy with the sound, and like crowd was there. We haven't had a bad show though. But those 2 shows stick out, and then we did our music video in Haverhill, Massachusetts, like a couple weeks ago. And dude, like I got my ass whooped, man. Straight up, dude. I got jumped for like 25 minutes. It was awesome.
So what have you released so far?
So like as far as music?
Yeah.
So we did the 2 EPs, and then we've done a couple of singles. So like Not Your Skinhead was a single, Cold Steel was a single, Perp Walk that came out on Lionheart like as a 5-inch. That was a single. And then we just dropped Casual Violence, which is like our quote unquote full length. Over 20 minutes, so that's what classifies as a full length now.
Yeah.
It was like, it was a struggle when we were writing, dude. I was like, all right, man. We got to get over 20 minutes. We did. We got like almost 23 minutes. So I was like, all right, cool. I mean, 10 songs. But yeah, so we put out a full length. Then yeah, I think that's everything. We got like we already have like 6 new songs already. There's like
nice.
3 songs. Yeah, there's like 3 songs that did make the record. And they were going to, but like I was just like, hold on, they're not. The lyrics weren't like finished yet. So we got like 6 songs. We're gonna do a compilation. Lionheart's gonna do a compilation of like all our material, like on one vinyl, for like everybody who didn't get, the vinyl, because a lot of people want it. So that's just gonna be like a basic, black record with like all our stuff, but it'll have 2 new songs on it. So
yeah, and where can people get that?
That'll be on Lionheart, like through Lionheart Records.
Okay.
That'll be the next new thing. But the Casual Violence vinyl is like at the plant right now. So Casual Violence will be out like worldwide. Like the first press is 1,400. So, everybody who wants one should be able to get one. God, I hope.
Cool.
Yeah, and so that'll be available through Oi the Shop, Lionheart Records, and then Revelation Records is handling the U.S. distribution. So Revelation Records will have their own like colorway, and that'll be available in the U.S.
Nice. Yeah,
and then it'll be like Oi the Shop's handling the distribution, so it'll be like worldwide as far as like distros and record stores. So.
Yeah, for sure.
So and that'll be out end of July.
Okay, end of July, right on. Sweet. And does everyone get along in Chicago, like all the punks and skinheads and hardcore kids?
Oh hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
From my perspective, absolutely. There's honestly like there's not too much overlapping, but like with our shows recently there has been. So, we played with Violent Way and Fierce City, and then so like a lot of like old heads came out, but there was like a lot of like hardcore kids or younger kids who came out for us as well. So it was kind of a cool little experiment to see, crossover there. But I mean, I don't know. Chicago's like it's like real liberal and super, PC. So as dangerous as this place used to be, as far as show-wise goes, it's it's a fraction of that now. But there ain't no dumb stuff going on.
Yeah.
Too much shit going on in the real world to be worrying about some scene drama. That shit.
Right.
It's not fun, man.
Seems like yeah. It seems like that. It's like how it is everywhere now.
Yeah, which is honestly kind of better, I mean, I like that, dude.
Yeah, for sure. And what does hardcore skinhead mean to you?
Exactly that, brother. I don't know, man. It means do whatever the fuck you want to do when you want to do it. That's what that means.
Yeah.
I mean, that's skinhead mentality.
Yeah.
Doing everything with your boys.
Hell yeah. It's a good one.
It's a life of extremes. It's like, I tried to be like, I'm a little bit older now, and she's like, this is who I am, man. I was like, well, I'm not gonna like get my hands tattooed or anything. I was like, dude, what am I doing? I'm 36. Yeah. Like, come on, man. This is you. There's no corporate jump or no like, oh, I can't get a job. It's like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Tell yourself that sooner.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy your life a lot more.
Once you cross the line, you might as well just go all the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. It's like, what am I like? And not even just on the tattoo tip, but like everything. It's like, look,
right.
Man, this is who I am. I'm like a degenerate who like has his shit together, enough to, not scare away the neighbors, but like,
keep them at a distance.
Yeah, exactly. Like it took us a while. It took us a while before they started talking to me, but then they talked to me. I'm a nice guy, and I am. Like I'm that's how I live. But it's also just like, look, this is who I am, man. Like I still wear band T-shirts, you know. Like fuck it.
I feel that. Good answer. So what's next for the band besides the new release?
We're playing in Buffalo, New York with Violent Way, June 10th. That's our next show. So that's like 2 weeks. And then we're doing a run in Texas with Liberty and Justice and Concrete Elite, which I'm wicked excited for. So we're doing 3 days. We're doing Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas. It'll be June 30th, July 1st, and July 2nd. So it'll be us, Liberty and Justice, Concrete Elite, and Empire Down from Minneapolis.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll be on all those shows. And then, like, the Bullshit Detectors playing one show, which is sick. Yeah, we're doing that. And then, so that's, yeah. And then July's, like, our busiest month we've ever had.
Yeah.
Like, we got, like, a shitload of stuff coming up this summer. We're playing, like, the Rumble Fest here in Chicago. We're playing This Is Hardcore in August in Philly.
Nice.
Yeah, we got, like, dates in New York City, New Jersey, playing in Nashville, playing in Indiana, Kentucky. All summer we're playing in, where else are we going? We're doing, like, a run all the way down to Florida. Like, the demand for the band is just, like, for shows is just, like, I always said, I was like, no, we're not going to tour, but it's just, like, turning into, like, you know, it's just better for us to just play, like, 3 or 4 shows at once than it is to just do one-offs.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, you know,
Any,
this is a live band, so.
Right. Of course. Any West Coast plans, or?
Yeah. We'll be coming to California. We're trying to get out there September. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but we're 100% going to be out there in December. So we're going to we're doing like a run with, we're in talks to do a run with Slugger.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're going to do like a week, like all the way from like San Diego all the way up to Sacramento and everything in between, the Bay Area, LA. Maybe make it to Portland. We'll see. And then we're playing the For the Children Fest out there in LA. So yeah, we're definitely going to be back out west. I wanted to go there sooner, but because of the Europe tour in October, kind of like.
Yeah, that should be fun.
Yeah. I love going out there, and I want to play out there more. So yeah, we'll be there in December, 100%.
Awesome. Can't wait. All right. Well, you have any last words?
Man, let's see. Yeah. Is this like a live thing? Am I like people waiting on me to say something?
No. Nobody's. No one's waiting. There's no big drum roll.
Okay, good. Because I'm gonna do what I always do, and it's like last words type stuff. Listen to Tyrant. That's what I'm gonna tell him. That's my last words. Listen to Tyrant.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, man. Glad we finally linked up.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thanks so much for like setting this up, making it happen, dude. I enjoy doing stuff like this.
Hell yeah, dude. It's a pleasure.
All right, my man. Well, just stay in touch, man, and then let me know how it goes or what you're doing with it.
All right, bro. Have a good one.
All right, I'll see you in December, yeah?
Of course. I'll be there, man.
All right, you let me know. I'll put you on the list, all right? Got you take care of.
Bye-bye.
All right.